Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all here on this beautiful day. And is there anybody here from another unity? Okay. Anybody here for the first time? Raise your hand if you're here for the first time, because we have a gift for you. All right? Anyway, as we have entered this new year, we've entered with an opportunity to claim what is being said by the astrologers and the numerologists, that this is going to be a year of fulfillment of our dreams. This is what a lot of people are saying. We're ready for it. Look forward to it. It's going to be great. And you're going to love this talk being shared by Santisha. Look forward to that.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Boulder. Those of you who are joining us in person and those of you who are joining us online, thanks for spending some time with Unity of Boulder. I've got an announcement here of an event starting up this week. Santisha is going to be starting a book group, and this is not just a women's book group. Men and women are invited to join. That is going to start this Wednesday at noon, and it will take place in the bookstore here. It's 5 sessions long. It's $15 to join and $10 a session, and it goes from noon to 1:30. The book she's going to be doing this on is Discover the Power Within You by Eric Butterworth, who is one of Unity's greatest authors. And the discussion will really focus on the philosophy of unity. We are stopping this at 15 people, so there's only a few spots left, so if you are interested, please come sign up today. We're not going to be signing up people on the day of, so you do need to pre-register for this class before this Wednesday. And books are on their way in right now, so the first session is going to be kind of it's going to be a lot more of a discussion than actually about the book, and meeting everyone and getting to know everyone. So please sign up for that. That is this Wednesday at noon. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity today. So this is the point in our service, which is the call to prayer. So this is a time to take a little sheet of paper and write all the people that you believe need prayer in their lives right now. And it's okay to pray for yourself. We know that we're not changing God by praying, but we're actually aligning with the greater power that's within all of us, to align with the healing that can be possible for anyone that's facing a challenge right now. And it is okay for us to pray for ourselves as well. And so you can fill it out. And this is Steve Sheets. He is the head of our prayer department. He will walk down and collect your prayer requests, and he'll put them in our prayer box, which will be prayed over for 30 days here at Unity of Boulder, and then it'll be sent off to Silent Unity and prayed over for another 30 days. So we'd like to sing this song to call our vibrational presence in union with Spirit, to allow this next hour for healing mind, body, and spirit here at Unity of Boulder.
You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. And I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for you.
Now join us, and we go a little faster.
You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your
powerful mirror, this power expression of God within all of us. All right, today our special music is being shared by our friend who shares her music quite a bit with us because she's so amazing. Let's have a warm Boulder Uni welcome for Rebecca Abraxas.
Hi. There's a futile voice inside who acts as your alibi when a cold dark morning comes and you're committed to your bed. Try to remember what your mama always said. There's more to you than what you see, a part who always rides your dreams. There's more to you than what you tell, a part who's there when heaven needs help. And the day is at its end, and you've done all that you can. It's easier to forget and let the curses fill your head. But listen to the silence. This is what it's always said. There's more to you than what you see, a part who always rides your dreams. There's more to you than what you tell, a part who's there when heaven needs help, when heaven needs, when the weight of the world makes you run, reach for your dreams. Now don't you be done. When you feel your tears alone in your bed, alone in your bed, alone in your bed. There's more to you than what you see, a part who always rides your dreams. There's more to you than what you tell, a part who's there when heaven meets hell, when heaven meets hell.
Thank you, Rebecca, for that beautiful way. Such an interpretation, beautiful lyrics, love it. It's great. All right, so today is talk 2 of welcoming 2024, the year of the 8. This is the year of the 8. Last week we had this hypnotic infinity symbol moving, and today I just want to do the tree of life. I think that one always is just the grounding of the Mother Earth moving in and through our beings and our interconnectedness. So important, because that's really what this talk is about. Last week was about the karmic balance and manifestation, and this week is going to be about abundance and yielding that which is abundance in mind, body, and spirit, not just the financial, but the physical, the spiritual, and the embodiment of our oneness with one another and how we have so much to teach each other and grow. And so we're going to talk about community a little bit today. So unity is not your average spiritual center. Unity does not adhere to specific dogmas, doctrines, rituals, rites, sacraments, or specific theological concepts. Instead, our founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, developed 5 basic principles that can be used as a template for spiritual growth, which is something we'll be going over in Discovering the Power Within Us book group that I'll be starting on Wednesday. And even with the principles in place, They still encourage everyone to feel the freedom of spirit to practice in whatever way feels expansive and holy. So there is no right or wrong way to find God or find spirit within us. And so when I stand up here and I share different stories, share different experiences I've had or sharings that people have shared with me, if it doesn't resonate with your being, then let it go. I'm not up here as something separate than you. I am only merely a mirror of what you already know within you. I'm just evoking and reminding you on a soul level things that you've probably come across many times in your life, but sometimes we forget when we're stuck in the tribulations of life and we can't move into the heart. We need to move out of that head and move into the heart. They say that's the longest journey, is from the head to the heart. And so sometimes we have to remember the capacities and the power that lives within us. So I'm going to start with one of the principles. Last week I started with 5 of 5 because that's my nature. I don't do things in order. But Unity Principle 3 of 5, we are co-creators with God, creating our reality through thoughts held in mind. Creating our reality through thoughts held in mind. And Charles Fillmore goes on from there, our co-founder, and he says, God's greatest gift to people is the power of thought, through which they can incorporate into their consciousness the mind of God. Where they can incorporate into their consciousness the mind of God. So right now you can hear music playing, and I played this last week and I'll be playing it during this talk series that I'm covering right now. And it's the 963 hertz frequency, which attracts all kinds of miracles and blessings into our lives. So while you're here, just absorb the music. Like whatever it is that the soul is needing right now, just be open. Leave the world outside these doors for the next 40 minutes and gift yourself this time to be with your higher self, to discover the answers to the questions that you are asking in your life. When we're in a state of allowance, that's the frequency where things start to come in and we start to remember the truth and the power of our being. Wayne Dyer said, if you knew who walked beside you at all times on the path that you have chosen, you could never experience fear or doubt again. If you knew that there was this greater something that is always divinely guiding every aspect of your life, then we'd probably take some of the pressure off of ourselves. We'd release that valve of pressure where we're trying to figure out, we're trying to find the way, we're trying to find the path, in this forever longing and seeking something that's outside of the environment of our beingness right here. And that's the mistake, because we miss out on peace. We miss out on reverence. We miss out on the emergence and the immersence of spirit. Everything from this place, from this center, is where the answers lie. But we have to be meditating and frequency growing ourselves to something greater and higher where we can recognize the taps from the universe, recognizing those urges, recognizing that the universe is always communicating in and through our being here. So the number 8, which is the numerology number of the year this year, is a symbol of abundance, financial success, and achievement. However, in spiritual terms, this abundance can be interpreted more broadly. It can refer to an abundance of spiritual insights, emotional richness, and personal growth. The year 2024 may bring opportunities for significant spiritual breakthroughs and a deeper understanding of one's life purpose. There's a lot of good this year. If you really can start to get in the resonance of higher consciousness or 5D consciousness, there's so many names for finding the heaven in the midst of your being, then you're going to get to ride this wave. And it's astrologically connected, it's in numerology, and then it's just spiritually connection. So the number 8 encourages the harmonization of material and spiritual realms. It suggests that financial or material success and spiritual growth are not mutually exclusive, but can complement each other. The year 2024 might inspire individuals to find a balance between their material pursuits and spiritual aspirations, understanding that both can coexist and enrich one another. So they both can move within each other. So as we find this spiritual inspiration, feel this divine connection, we're actually just tapping into that law of attraction that starts to bring us more and more of that which we need in the material world. So really the goal is just to spiritually be connecting, right? When we become, because we are attracting what we are on a frequency, always. So every time we want to blame somebody else, blame a situation, blame a boss, blame a job, blame that there's some outer circumstances that's keeping you from experiencing financial okayness, experiencing love in your life, experiencing whatever it is that your heart is desiring. When you always bring it back here, that somehow you're attracting everything that's happening out here. There's nowhere to look. There's no God to blame. There's no person to blame. There's no self to blame. It's just starting to heal the self and loving thyself. To love thyself is to love God. We are the second coming of Christ. If anybody thinks there's a physical person that's coming, that's going to be Jesus, that's going to clean up the mess that we're seeing in this world, it's the collective consciousness of us. We are the call to action through us. We are the ones that have to develop into the grandeur and the greatness that Jesus said we could be and do. He was just a great example of what we are. He was just raised to be taught that he was divine in nature. Divine in nature. He was taught that he was the only child of God. And yet he was telling us, no, because these works I do, you will do, and you'll do them even better. So it's not about separation. It's about unity. It's about coexisting. It's about connecting. It's about being in a state of wonder. Wow, what if? What if what Santisha's saying right now is true? So the year 2024, represented by the number 8, thus holds potent energy for those seeking inspiration in their spiritual journey. It's a year that can bring profound growth, balance, and a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness between all of us in all aspects of life. Yes, it's a sojourn journey, but the interconnectedness is what's missing now. We're missing a lot of, when you really study the emergence, when you think of Zen is about immersion vibrationally, it's about feeling all of it. When you're walking by a tree and feeling the breath of the tree, walking on the earth and feeling the subtle movements and the growth of the grass. It's those subtle movements when you get around a person and you can feel the heaviness, feeling called to mirror, love, asking a perfect stranger, are you okay? Right? Being aware that our interconnectedness is where we're going to heal, because we're mirroring for each other, heightening frequencies of light. And when we need that light, it will be shed onto us too. That's when the healing starts to begin in consciousness for this world. So I came across this docu-series on Netflix called Almost Australian. And it's a docu-series following this woman named Miriam Margolyes. And she played Professor Pomona Sprout in the Harry Potter movies. She's this adorable human being that has decided to just go out for 2 months in Australia and discover Australia, because she just became a citizen there because her partner was from Australia. And she wants to understand the people, all the cultures, all the people. And you're basically in every single episode being with her, talking and asking people questions. I went through the whole series in 2 days, and every episode I just cried. And I'm like, why am I crying when I'm watching this? And it was the pace at which she met people, how she met them where they were, without any judgment, just pure curiousness, total childlike wonder at her 78 years old. and to see how much we have more in common with people than we don't. And I want to share this. And for me, I grew up in a family of storytellers. That was part of everyday life. Dinner time was about telling stories about our dreams the night before and interpreting. My dad would interpret what they meant, and it was about the fascination with the miraculous and the mundane, and the funniness of the mundane, and the hardship of life, and the grandeur of it. And that interaction with family still singing and doing storytelling together, right? And yet, we feel so far apart. Like, we're not really asking people's stories. We're so polite in this country to not want to invade somebody's privacy, right? But when you go to other countries, if you've traveled, you notice that people tell you their story right away. There's something very free about sharing their stories, and then they want to know your story. And you realize when you're talking to people that maybe isn't somebody that you would be coming across in life very often, that something evokes something in our spirit when we hear people's stories and how they overcame things. You know, when you think about indigenous tribes, there's a respect for elders. There's a respect of the time that they've been on this planet, that they have witnessed so many things, and yet our young people don't have a respect that those stories have fruit in them that will guide them and direct them, right? And it also creates the empathy and the compassion where those young people now take care of those elders as they need, right? This interconnectedness is missing from our society. And so when we become higher and higher versions of this consciousness, we become more and more honorable, outpicturing energies of God in action. Everyone expresses their own truths and what they've learned from life. We all have unique stories. This is one of the many subtle beauties of life. So us withholding it might be withholding it from something somebody needs to hear in their lives. And also being a great listener. We don't have enough listeners too. So this Wednesday, that's what I'm going to be doing, is an immersion. We're gonna talk and share our stories for the first class that we get together, because the books didn't come in, and I believe this must be why, right? I see everything falls into place exactly in the divine order. I can't believe we couldn't get those books forever. I could have gotten hundreds of those books, but all of a sudden it's like, nope, there's a plan for the first class, right? We flow. We move with life. So we learn so much from telling our stories and asking people questions. It's a human need to connect, to immerse oneself in other people's views and interests. It sparks spiritual memory within the soul and awakens dormant places within us. Jesus was documented in the 4 Gospels. Even though he knew all the answers, he focused so much of his interactions with people on asking them questions. In fact, on record, he asked 339 questions, using different kinds of questions to engage in and instruct, inspire, and challenge his pupils. And he only answered 183 questions. We think that all he was doing was answering our questions about why are we here? How do we do this thing? How do we do this life thing? How do we work miracles in this world? All the big ones, all the fun ones. But what he was doing was actually encouraging us to find it within ourselves by his questions. Nobody's ever going to show us the way. We have to find our way, heart first. We are finding our way. And the answers are in the very midst of us to every question that we have. And you know when you're getting that download because you get chills. All of a sudden, or somebody says something that's so appropriate to what you've been asking, and you just get chills. They call them angel bumps, goosebumps, whatever. So I'm going to go on and read another story that I came across this week that was like, I loved it. It's from the book, The Magic of Surrender, which once again, I keep sharing things that I don't have books for in the bookstore. So it will be here next Sunday. The Magic of Surrender by Cute Blackson. When I was in my 20s, I came home to London for a visit. I decided it was time to ask my father about his experiences with miracles. I had never sat down to ask him how they happened, how he performed them, but now I wanted to know. And he told me a story I'd never heard before. Many years ago, the former king of the Ashanti region of Ghana suffered a devastating stroke and was paralyzed on one side of his body. He was flown to London to receive medical treatment. His family heard about my father, the miracle man from Africa, who had a church in London and had asked my father to come and pray for the king. My father visited him in the hospital and asked that they move the king to a house in London for a week so that my father could pray for him daily. When my father walked into the room in which the king was resting, He sat down next to him and closed his eyes to pray. After a few moments, he turned to the king's wife, who was anxiously sitting by his side, intently offering up her own prayers. Out of the blue, my father was inspired to ask if they had any tomato juice. With a strange look on her face, the king's wife said she would find out. A few moments later, she brought a glass of tomato juice in and handed it to my father. He prayed over it and then asked the king to take a drink. And as the king took a sip, the room was filled with the sound of loud crackling. The king turned his head toward my father, eyes wide as he swallowed the tomato juice. Crack, 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 his body started realigning itself. He jumped out of bed, waving his hands in the air. I can't believe it. I can't believe it, he shouted, hugging my father. This is the moment that they became the best of friends. I was as curious as you are. I looked at my father and I wanted to know how this happened. Wouldn't you? Dad, how did you know that the tomato juice would cure him? I asked. I didn't, my father replied. You didn't, so why did you give him the tomato juice? I saw an image of tomato juice in my mind's eye, and I trusted the guidance. I had no idea what exactly it would do or if it would work. But over the years, I have given up the need to know. I never question my guidance. I've learned, cute, that when I don't question my guidance, miracles happen. So my job is to get myself out of the way. Let me be clear. I do not perform miracles. I do not heal anyone. People call me the miracle man, but it is God who does the miracles. Life does the miracles. They have nothing to do with me. What's my part? If you want to know my secret, I just show up, listen, and say yes. It is much easier this way. He looked at me, considering, cute, if I demanded to know how the healing would happen, what would happen next? How it would all work out? I would be anxious and stressed and maybe never take action. This is how we live life, the constant questioning. The constant questioning of the mind takes you out of the flow of miracles. If I don't do the miracles, why stress? Why worry? It's not my responsibility. I sat there stunned, recognizing the profoundness of what he had said, how our minds complicate things. I realized that I had been watching my father model this way of living my entire life. He did not question the guidance he was given. He lived in a way where he didn't interfere with life. He trusted his guidance, showed up, and said yes. What would it be like to live that way? Think of all the questioning we do to block the flow to that which the universe is trying to guide us to. So much questioning to protect ourselves from hurt. We're always putting up the barriers to protect ourselves from moving forward and pursuing and doing things, because what if this happens? What if this happens? We do all of these things to protect ourselves, but what we're actually doing is just stopping and building a brick wall between us and the unfoldment of that which is being called for our soul's life here. To trust the guidance. Don't ask another person about what they think about this divine guidance you got, because I promise you, they'll talk you out of it. That's just our nature. And when somebody shares their divine guidance, listen. Your opinion has no meaning. That's the whole point, is that we have to trust what comes up, these nudges in our meditations, in our dreams, right? So do you realize that your intuition is your superpower? In every single bit of your life, your superpower is your intuition. I know this talk is supposed to be on manifestation, and it is. You will intuit that which you need to do. But you have to be fearless. You have to be willing to be in surrender. You have to be willing to let spirit carry you. You have to be willing to get in that river and float and let it take you to where you belong. You have to be able to be willing to let go of control. And trust me, this has probably been the thing that's been my greatest teacher this lifetime. Letting go of control and surrendering. when you've had so many things pulled out from underneath you, and you've had that shock of things being pulled out from underneath you, you become a person that's controlling to not have to hurt, to not to have fear, not to have situations where you don't have money, all those things. And yet what we're doing is we're stopping the divine flow. We've let the breaks and the hurts of our past dictate the miracles that are supposed to be landing in our life right now, especially in this immersion year of the 8. There's only good coming our way. Only. And when you really live with, I can't wait to see what this year is bringing me, in a state of surrender, letting go of control, getting excited of the unknown instead of being scared of it. So here's what we do instead of being in the flow and trusting the guidance. We ignore the deep knowing in our heart. We resist what our soul is nudging us to do. Maybe we feel guided to take action, but we want to know why. We want to know where, we want to know the answer before we take the first step, and so we sit, we wait, we hesitate, and then the moment has passed us. That's not that the universe is going to keep trying to give you the life that you are feeling those divine urges for, but it might take a minute, right? Because if we're always having to contemplate the why and the how, then the universe can't really move and do it in the universe's way. So I want you to consider what might happen if you too stopped questioning, you too stopped interfering. I'm not saying you're going to be healing the sick or making money grow on trees. You may. But when you get yourself out of the way, you get yourself into the flow. Then things in your life begin happening beyond what you can currently imagine. You align yourself with the power of the universe. So let's just take a moment right now to take an inventory of our life right now where you are feeling a divine urge. Feeling a divine calling to move, a divine calling to leave a job, a divine calling to have a hard conversation, a divine calling to grieve, a divine calling to be true to your truth and no longer contemplating other people's truth for you. A divine calling to expand into the limitless power of who and what you are. That power that you are emerged and immersed in, which is God. This universe is honorable. And if you're experiencing things that are pushing up against you over and over and over again, and it's out of flow, that is a divine awareness that the frequency that you're holding is not of high consciousness. So you're still learning by skinning your knees, and you're learning by skinning your knees, and you're learning by breaking your heart, and you're learning through pain. And I've spent most of my adult life learning that way. But this last year, I just got handed one adversary thing after another, after another, after another. And fear and attachments and all these changing things. And it was like the whole picture of where I thought I would be at this phase was just falling away every single day. And I was grieving, and I was mad, and I was scared, and I was, because I had a picture of what this was supposed to be like. And it was all falling away, and I had no control over it. And it got worse and worse and worse as I pushed up against it, trying to fight to make something stay the way I wanted it to. The universe doesn't do it that way. The one thing we count on is change. That's the constant. And then one day I woke up so frustrated, so sad, so broken, so done. And I literally got to the point where I did not care anymore. Like, truthfully, in a scary way, don't care. I do not care. I'm done being signed up with trying to find the spiritual road, trying to do this, trying to do that. Oh, it's all this trying. I don't care anymore. Freed me. I wasn't going to hurt myself or anything like that. I just simply did not care. Because all that caring was destroying me because I was trying to hold up a tower that was impossible to hold up because it was bull BS. Thank you. I did it. And then I realized that the interpretation of not caring anymore meant that I was finally, totally and completely in the river with God, with Spirit. Whatever it is you want, I've been fighting to do what I thought you wanted me to do. And clearly that's not working out. So I guess I'll finally surrender here and let go of control here and trust the process. And the first sign that I was truly doing that, I slept all through the night that night. And I hadn't slept all through the night for at least 2 years. Like a baby, like coma levels of sleeping. The body wasn't having those triggers, so I woke up and was like, so much pressure, so much pressure. And I've slept every single night since. Because I don't care. It's weird. I love my kids. I love all these things. My kid did donuts last Sunday, completely wrecked his axle on his car. It's like, just got back from Mexico. It's like, now we're going to spend our days fixing his car. I didn't care. He was like waiting for a reaction. I was like, if I didn't do that in high school, then I should get mad. But I did. Right? All of a sudden, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to point out that speck in your eye when I have this big log jam in mine. I'm going to stop judging everybody. I'm going to discover the true power that lives within me, which is not human. It's ethereal. It's spiritual. And it's available to each and every one of us when we stop trying to control and dictate the demands of what the world is doing to us and what we're sharing with this world. We accept everyone for who they are, whether you like it or not. You choose who's in that beautiful vibrational circle that you're in. You circle up with these high vibrational people, you're going to watch your life change. But you got to meet them too. And you hold each other accountable in this not caring of light and love. And so I'm going to just take us into a meditation. We're going to practice this for a few minutes. Just closing your eyes and just getting into the connection with Spirit, firmly having your feet on the ground, not having your legs crossed, because that actually disconnects us from the universal pull of love and light. And just touching base. Getting connected with our breath. Let's do that together. Let's do that again. Another part of this talk that I didn't get to is when we feel like people that we love are living out of alignment and we believe that's directly affecting us. We're the only ones that allow that, and it's none of our business what they're doing. Our business is us and God. Even partners, even children. We all have a divine spark within us, and we all have to start taking ownership of our connection with this light and love. So we create our own heartfelt affirmation, something that aligns us with this divine flame within us, where we let go of our apprehensions, our fears, our stories of lack. You know, we know the greatest word for God is I am. And a lot of times we want to fill it in with I am smart. I am whole. I am holy. And yet we're putting a word to this surrender. Whereas, can you just connect with I am? There's no period at the end of that. That's divine flow. It's limitless. It's a moving vibrational energy. I am. It's all those good things that you are. All the capacities that you can become. And yet we don't have to limit it by giving it a word. I am. Knowing the divine perfection that God made us in its image and likeness. Knowing the capacities of healing that the body can emergence with when we live in a high frequency consciousness. I am. Limitless potentiality. That means we get to drop the fear. We get to drop the walls between us and flowing and stepping into that river and allowing. Breaching a space that we may have never entered before. This is where we go when we meditate. I am in this limitless substance. I am that substance. When we are, we attract it. I am that homeostasis. So my body is balanced and healed. I am the light of the world. So I get to be immersed in this light. Most importantly, I am. I am. I am. And so this, and to this, we say thank you. Amen. Come back into this room and allow yourself to take this with you. When you can find this place when you go to sleep and merge with it in your meditation when you wake up. All the gold, all the fruit, all the good, all the aspects of life that you are searching for will be unto you without you doing anything. Amen. We'll take an offering for unity now.
Once again, we've had the opportunity to take in some beautiful spiritual truth that we can apply in our lives, and especially this new year. As we do that, as we put that truth into our lives and live it, we will be healing the collective consciousness of the world, because all of us are connected on that level. So live that truth, that openness, that freedom to have peace. And that peace will start to move in the consciousness of everyone in our world. So it's a beautiful lesson we received today. And so we're going to give back as we can that spiritual gift that will supply unity, with the opportunity to continue to share this life-transforming truths. As we take our offerings in our hands, let's bless them with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is. We have Rebecca Braxis to share her amazing music with us once again.
If I can live in the question of what is to come, excuse me. Let's try that again. If I can live in the question of what is to come, if I can live in the question without wanting to run, what would my life be like? Would it take away my strife? If I could trust that it's all being done, maybe my life has just begun. What am I bringing in? What am I bringing in? What am I bringing in through the questions that come? What is to come of me? What is it now that I can be? If I can live in the question of me, I can let go of each day, starting fresh and new. If I can let go of how and all I have to do, could more actualize, could I finally realize that it can be easier than I thought? Being parts of me I love, but I forgot. What am I bringing in? What am I bringing in? What am I bringing in through the questions that come? What is to come of me? What is it now that I can be? If I can live in the question of me, what am I bringing in? What am I bringing in? What am I bringing in through the questions that come? What is to come of me? What is it now that I can be? If I can live in the question of me, what am I bringing in? What am I bringing in? What am I bringing in through the questions that come? What is to come of me? What is it now that I can be? If I can live in the question of me. Woo!
Okay, so there's limited space in my book group, so you would want to register today. We only have a few spots left, and then it meets on Wednesday from 12 to 1:30, the second and fourth Wednesday of the month, so it's going to be over a period of time. You will get a syllabus, and it says you have to be reading the pages for the first class. Just know that you'll be doubling up between the first and the second class, because we're flowing with life. All right, and then we have a midweek meditation every Wednesday at 7 p.m. so you can stay, connected with this higher consciousness throughout the week so that we come back on Sunday and we're even better and we're even higher and higher frequencies of love for this world. So let's circle up and we're going to do Let There Be Peace on Earth, and it's going to go around this aisle around and we'll hold hands. Okay, we'll go like this. Yes. Oh, look at her. So many faces of God. Look at all of you. It's beautiful to see you all here. Thank you for being a part of this. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous song. To take and live in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. I have a quick announcement for those of you who want to discuss the sermon. We'll circle up in 5 minutes in the back of the sanctuary back here. But let's go into I release and I let go. A church that dances together stays together. Here we go. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. It's your turn. Go, your turn. And I let go. I want to hear you all. I let the Spirit run my life. Oh, I think all of them can hear. Is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. ones.